You're now tuned in to Box Power Sound.
Out there like Mouth Gear, in there like Swimmer. Season 2, Box Power Sound. Come on, tap into it.
Season 2, I'm super excited to be here.
Welcome back to another episode of Box Power Sound. I'm very excited to have the lovely Leila Dey in the building. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking a stop out of your very busy schedule. For those of you who don't know, I don't know how you couldn't know, you are on tour.
I am.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my goodness. Tour has been amazing, like incredible. A lot of people have horror stories about their first time touring.
I can
and
imagine.
I literally have nothing bad to say about this whole experience. As an R&B artist out of Toronto, just having the ability to tour US has just been incredible.
Yes.
And I couldn't ask for a better first tour with a better artist, Jessie Reyez, with a better support, Nisha. It's just been incredible all around.
That's really beautiful to hear. And as you said, not a lot of people have that experience for their very first time.
Yeah.
And what is it like having a sister in the industry from the city as the main headliner?
It is literally like that. It's like having a sister who's just like looking out for you, you know, on tour. Especially this being my first time being on the road. It's like, it feels like her team, her parents are on the road as well.
That's
They're like
so sweet.
amazing. I love them so much. We could do a whole segment on them alone. But like, yeah, it's just like that. It feels like having like a big sister and just like a team that also has your back.
Really
Everybody has
sweet.
been incredibly like kind and just helpful. They're helping me and my team just figure out the ropes and how to be on the road and be on tour, and just like giving us tips each day about like how to stay healthy, how to stay fit enough to perform every single day. Being encouraging, like everybody knows like when you're on tour, just like when you go on vacation, you want to pick the right people to go on vacation with, you know what I'm saying? Like if you go on vacation with the wrong people and you're like, damn, like I really messed up with this one. Honestly, being on the road with Jessie is fun because she's just so like down to earth. She's super chill. Like she's just funny as shit. I'm sorry, can I swear?
Of course,
okay.
yes, you're good.
She's just like funny as shit. Like she's just super chill, super cool. They have a lot of fun. It's just been incredible all around.
I love that, and that's a big thing to say when you're going from somebody who started at Remix and has worked their way up to working with Beyonce.
Yes.
So it's like you must be learning and growing so much.
Every day. I'm learning so much. And the thing about it is like she's worked with Beyonce, but like literally she talks to me like how we're talking right now.
Yeah.
And the humility in that is just so amazing. Not to mention she's from Toronto, so like our Toronto slang, we just get it. You know,
it's nice when you can look over and travel the world and take over the world, and then you still be like, yo, you're good, fam?
Right, exactly. We just, there's certain times we don't even have to say anything. We're just
Exactly.
like,
The girls that get it,
They get it, exactly.
They get it. And that makes
that's fun.
that makes it so much easier, especially like it can be scary.
Yes.
When you're just out there navigating the world.
I will tell you this, like the first show that I did, our first stop was Chicago. And she had 2 sold out shows. And that was the first time I was coming onto the tour. She'd already been touring for a little bit. And, you know, I did the first show. And your first show is always kind of wild because, like, we're getting the hang of it. We're trying to figure out, we were trying to figure out sound. We were trying to figure out this. We were trying to figure out that. So I came off of the stage and I wasn't feeling discouraged, but I was like, oh, that wasn't my best. And you know, her parents, like her mom and her dad, were just literally standing off to the side. And as I came off, they were just like, oh my gosh, you did such a good job. And it just made me feel so like wholesome and full and warm. And I'll remember that for like the rest of my life. That small interaction with like her family, just really embracing me on the first day of the tour, the first show, completely like changed my mindset and the trajectory of like how I felt the tour would go. And from then, that point forward, I was like, I have to kill it every night.
Yes.
Yeah, every night.
I love that. That's so nice to hear. And at Box Power and Box Power Sound, we really are all about female empowerment and us working together and us creating that network. So when we are navigating this crazy industry, we have each other's support. So I'm really glad to hear that you have that with you on the road. What's it like being back in Toronto on this stop back home?
I really missed my bed.
Yeah.
But I hate that it's cold. I always hate that it's cold.
I'm not built for this.
Being back home has been a really amazing homecoming for Jessie and myself, and just like the support that we received was incredible as well.
Time is moving faster while I've been here so still, hoping we get better. Pinch myself to feel something real.
A lot of new faces, a lot of old faces, familiar faces coming out to support the show.
I'm so happy to hear you've been having such a great experience on your first tour. Do you have any other inspirations that might surprise people when it comes to making music?
Ooh. Honestly, I think it's just life, or going through life and just kind of living.
Yes.
I really feel like I personally make music and write from a place of like experience and other people's experience, and hearing other people's kind of like their stories and what they've gone through.
How do you kind of find that balance of, I'm gonna use music as my outlet and share? Do you sometimes feel nervous about oversharing, anything like that?
Yeah, I think like for a long time, communicating through music was the only thing that I actually knew how to do. I didn't really have the words to communicate verbally through conversation with anyone. You know, this year I started therapy, and I was like, wow, I actually do have like communication blocks. Like, you know what I'm saying? All of my exes, just chill. You know, I feel like I was more open in the music. I could always speak through the music, and I think music always spoke to me in a different way. Like whenever I was going through something, I could always find a song that would like match what I'm going through or bring me through what I'm going through. So music has always kind of spoke for me.
So do you think that, like, you as a performing artist, do you feel like you have an alter ego? Have you felt like you've had to kind of have this Sasha Fierce persona?
You know what's crazy? I didn't feel like that before, but after going on tour, I kind of feel like that because you know I've been working with like a movement coach for this tour. Shout out Mark Samuels. He's been helping me, but like there's some of the things where I'm like, I would never do that. It's just like not me, you know what I'm saying? Like some of these dance moves, but I feel like I really have to like tap into another performance side, and that's the Sasha Fierce that I feel like is like really similar to Beyonce. Like she's also a performer, and she understands her power in performance. And you know, outside of just singing, she's an entertainer, and so tapping into that like very, how do I say this? Like where there's no blockers, you know? It's just like you letting it all go on the stage is important.
Exactly. So, whether it's your Sasha Fierce Mamba mentality, whatever it is, it's like whatever's going on in my life, in my head, I need to put that aside and get to work on the stage.
And commit. Like commit to the moment, commit to everything. And it's funny, being on this tour, like Jessie is a freaking rock star.
Yeah, she is.
She commits to every single moment on this tour. Like I've only been on like 16 dates, and every single night, doesn't matter if she's like feeling under the weather, she commits to every single moment. And that's so like important, and such an important like piece of artistry that I really want to take with me moving forward. It's just like you commit to every moment, and that to me is like the Sasha Fierce balance.
It is, and it's beautiful to see artists just like transform when the lights go up, and it's just like your blinding lights, deafening screams, and it's just like it's magical. It's magical, and you guys are making some really incredible music. Have you always wanted to make music? Was this a childhood goal for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always had like 2, maybe 3 goals. When I was younger, I grew up in a very musical family. So like my dad was a DJ. My mom, she sings in the shower, but she's great, you know, shout out to my mom. And then, you know, a lot of my cousins, my sister is also a singer, Akila, shout out to my sister Akila. She's also hot stuff in the city. We grew up in a very musical family. We were always singing, whether that was in church, in this group that my aunt started, Caribbean Gems. We were just always singing. So I always knew that I wanted to participate in music. And then, you know, I started getting into sports. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to play soccer. So I was playing ball. Like I was playing ball for a really long time. In high school, when I was also playing competitive basketball, I was simultaneously like doing the talent show. And so like I became like this singing basketball player. So I feel like, I feel like I always knew that I always wanted to sing. Always knew that in my heart, deep down, like even when I didn't know how it was gonna happen, I always knew that like this is the path that I wanna take. And from the moment that like people were like, oh my God, like who is singing? And I would go in church and I would sing, and like really like changing people's lives, and the feedback, I just knew that this was like my calling and my gift that I wanted to present to the world.
How did you stay so confident in your journey?
Wow, thank you for calling me confident. No, listen, there was like a point in time, like I feel like when I first started, I was going as PG. Most of the people in the city know that. And I was rapping, and I felt like I was so confident. But I was so young as well. Like nobody could tell me nothing. I was like, I'm playing ball, I'm fire. Like I come out, I'm like winning talent shows. Like nobody could tell me nothing. My confidence was on 100. Then, you know, life happened, went through life, and feel like somewhere in the middle, I was humbled in a lot of ways, not just from people, but from life. And I was humbled, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, it really takes rigor to be in this music industry. It takes like tenacity. It takes real strength to be in this music industry, especially in Toronto, and to continuously like really want to chase that dream, because it's not easy out here for any artist. So I just feel like, I don't know, I didn't always have the confidence. And even right now, I don't even feel like I'm like super confident, but I just feel like there are those moments as an artist that really confirm or affirm for you that like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And this tour is one of them.
I love that. I love that, because it really is about the ebbs and flows. And sometimes you feel like this is not for me. I can't do this. But then you have that day where you're like, I had this all along. I knew I could do this. Okay. And you have to remind yourself of that. So when it comes to your sound and your voice and your journey through rapping to singing, how would you describe your sound overall?
Like, I feel like growing up, I always listened to like Lauryn Hill. My mom would play Lauryn Hill like every Saturday morning. That's like the indicator, like not the alarm to like get up and start doing some work in the house. Clean, I don't care what it is. Go do your laundry, clean up your room, something. And so I grew up really loving Lauryn Hill, and I loved that she was like a singer and a rapper. And when I was younger, I didn't even feel like I was like that strong of a singer. I was rapping because I was like, oh, I think I do like both pretty okay and enough to kind of get by. And as I got older, I was like, I really enjoy singing. I didn't think I was like the best singer, but I really worked at being better.
Who are some of your other inspirations as performers, writers?
Jasmine Sullivan, I love her. I really love like 90s R&B because that's kind of the era that I grew up in. I really enjoy the nostalgia of that era of music. I love like everybody from the 90s groups to 90s clothing, 90s hairstyles, just like the vibe of the 90s. I was probably supposed to be like dropped off in the 90s. You know, my bamboo earrings, period. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's giving poetic justice.
It's giving everything, 90s. I do like some like newer artists as well, even from the city. Like Jessie is incredible. I loved her music before, but like seeing her perform, I'm like the type of person, if I am drawn in by your live performance, then like you have me. You have me forever. Summer Walker. Her,
I love
like,
Summer.
It's honest, right? It's very honest. And even now, like I love her. She's also one of like our gems of this time because she's also a musician that plays multiple instruments, incredible singer, incredible performer. I've like been to many of her shows. Love Ari Lennox. She gives me that nostalgic feeling. I just feel like the R&B girlies are getting it. They're getting it.
The girlies are getting it. And I've been called out for this a couple of times. And I'm just starting to realize I basically only listen to women who make music. And I'm like,
it's okay. It is what it is.
I didn't notice that. So I'm hearing your answers. I'm like, the girls are doing it.
The girlies are getting it. A lot of R&B, the R&B dudes are getting it too, but I'll always champion the girlies.
I know, the girls, box power.
Yes, period, box power.
We're gonna switch it up a little bit, play a quick game of Would You Rather. So, let's see. Drake or The Weeknd?
Drake.
Care to tell me why?
Honestly, Drake gets me in like that hype. Yeah.
Fair enough. Are you a night owl or a morning person?
Definitely a night owl.
Oh, gang.
I can't wake up. Do not ever book me for like a 6 a.m. show. I won't make it.
We're in this industry for a reason.
Yeah,
we're in nightlife for a reason.
I'm sorry, breakfast television's not happening.
Do you prefer writing or performing?
Performing.
Nice, I like that. Would you rather have telekinesis or telepathy? So move things with your mind or read people's minds?
Ooh. Maybe move things. I think move things with my mind because, hearing what people have to say is rough. I feel like it's rough.
True. We have Twitter. We have Twitter for that. We don't.
I mean, I'm not that fast. Like, I just don't care about what, like, I don't want to know, like, what you think about me. You know what I'm saying? We have enough of that.
Fair enough. Yeah. Would you rather find true love or win the lottery?
Ooh, true love.
True love.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That can
come with the lottery too, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to choose.
Sure. Fair enough.
You know, you just need to come with the coin and the love, you know? But
yeah,
true
What's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
You're a Leo.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why? Leos get a bad rap.
No, I think it's like I think they may get a bad rap, but it's like fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with loving yourself? What's wrong with putting yourself first?
As you should. I'm a big big promoter of like self-love. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. It's like you can't even be mad at it. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, you're doing so much, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Shout outs to the Leos. Gang.
Okay, let me do, okay, no, this is top secret. This is top secret. Okay, let's see. We're gonna play a little game of finish the lyric.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say a sentence, a line,
Okay.
and see if you could finish it.
Child. Okay.
Let's see. I can't sing. So let's see, and I don't have much rhythm, so let's see what we could do with this.
I'm trying to catch it.
Well, won't you be my plug? You could be the one. We could start with a handshake. Baby, I'm gonna need more than a hug.
That's Summer Walker.
Yes.
With a handshake, baby. I'm only one a hug. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say how. Girls
Good
can't never say they
job. Good
need
job.
it. Okay, cool.
I was gonna just go, honestly.
Okay, thank you. That would have been better, but no worries. This is good. This is good.
Okay, let's see. I think you could get this one.
All right.
And no, it didn't mend my broken heart. I'll probably always have these ugly scars.
That's Jasmine?
Yes.
Okay.
And no, it didn't mend my broken heart.
I'll probably always
Have these ugly
scars. I need
But
the
right
rhythm.
now, I don't care about that part.
Ooh. Damn, this is really bad. Okay, wait. I need the rhythm. Broken heart. Ooh. Ugly.
Orchestra. Think about the orchestra. It's got a whole lot of wind instruments.
But I think I need the rhythm. I know
I'll bust the
that's
windows
Jasmine.
out your car.
Oh, that's crazy.
Right?
What part is that?
The beginning.
I know that's Jasmine, but you gotta try and sing it.
You get a
gotta
half
try and
point.
sing it. You know, I'm like an audible person.
Fair enough.
Not so much like a lyrical person.
Half a point, though. You got
Okay.
half a point. You
Half a
said
point, half a
Jasmine.
point, half a point.
You
Okay.
did say Jasmine.
I'll take it. Half a
Okay.
point. We good. We on a roll. We got this next one.
I think this one will be good.
Okay.
It could all be so simple.
Okay, we know that one. Lauren.
But you'd rather make it hard.
Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up with scars.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love your tone.
Thank you.
Okay,
The voice
let me
is gone
see.
right now, so don't.
Yeah,
judge
but
it too
even
hard.
still, your tone is still true. Like, because you have a edgier, raspier tone, a very cool
Yeah.
tone. So it's like, just, ooh.
Thank you.
Ooh. If I could sing, I would want a voice like that. You know
That's
what I'm
so
saying?
funny. Everybody always says that. Like, if
Like,
I could
that's
sing,
the-
I
that's
would,
the
like, I would
voice.
never speak. My photographer, shout out Coops. He literally was
Shout
like,
out
if I
Coops.
could sing, I would never speak. Like, he'd be
Never.
like, hey, how are you? I'm good. Like, okay, relax.
Yeah. Very, yeah. It would
Yeah.
Be, I'd be just walking around like Tori
Yeah.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Nobody could tell me anything.
Nothing.
Anything. You don't appreciate the time I put into this love affair of ours,
Faith
baby.
Evans.
I couldn't let you.
appreciate the time
Yes.
I put into this love affair of ours, baby. I couldn't let you walk around thinking it's alright to let me down. I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that song.
I love that song too. Shout out to Faith
right?
Evans.
And I love your what's it called? An interpolation.
Yes, 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 girl. Interpolation. We got it.
All right, perfect. Who got one more?
Okay.
Cold-blooded, you a savage. Everything high class, ain't nothing average.
Period. That's our song. Shout out to Adrian Kane. That's classic. Cold blooded, you a savage. Everything high class, ain't nothing average. Yeah. Damn, shorty, you the baddest. I take the midnight train and you're like Gladys. Anything you need, little mama, yeah, you can have it. Cause you a real one. Yeah, you a classic. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I love that song. I wish we could play more. That was fun. Thank you.
I didn't do too bad.
No, you
Okay.
did well.
All
You
right.
did well.
Take the midnight train to you like glass.
So Layla, can I get you to describe a day in the life of a performing artist? Fill us in.
Okay, so wait, do you want like a day in the life like on tour?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go. Let's get into the nitty
Because,
gritty.
you know, there's a difference. A day in the life, like, not on tour is very different. I'm, like, in my bonnet. You know what I'm saying? Black girl magic. In the bonnet, in the bed, like, just living life. But a day in the life on tour is honestly sometimes crazy. Like, one time I'll tell you this. Like, we did a 20-hour drive from Nashville to Boston. 20, it was like, ended up being like 21 hours. So we left the show, drove overnight. And then when we get to our destination, we try to check in or have some breakfast, check into our hotel. Sometimes they allow us for early check-in, sometimes they don't. So we're like around, you know? But from pretty much the entire day, at least for myself, is like really preparing my voice and doing the right things that allow me to be able to perform at optimal level when it comes time for show day. I like to steam, get hydrated, a lot of liquids in. I'll take like a ginger shot, especially if I'm going through different climates, because we went through like Orlando, it's hot a little bit. Well, it wasn't really that hot, but like it's warmer weather and then it goes into really cold weather. And then we do sound check, and then it's like, it's time to start getting ready.
Then it gets real.
And I take real long to get ready, so everybody knows. Pac will be looking at me like, so how long is this gonna be today?
Well, admitting is the first step.
I take long to get ready, but that was like mainly a day in the life. We do the show. I watch Jessie's show every single night. I watch the show. I've seen it like 17 times and I watch it every night. And then, you know, we do the whole mingle, meet and greets. We talk to fans or talk to people who are backstage who are like, you know, in the industry.
Like I love you, I want to see you, I've been following you forever. How long?
Yeah.
What is your favorite part?
About touring?
Yeah.
I think it's just like, I'm so grateful to be doing what I love. I literally stopped working like a full-time job in February.
Wow.
So I think I just stay in a place of gratefulness where like I'm doing what I love to do, which is to make music and sing and perform and write and record and all the amazing things. Yeah.
It is. It's a blessing. And I was just thinking as you're talking, and it's all about gratitude. You put in a lot of work to get to where you are today. Yeah. So what is it? Let me know a little bit more about what it's like getting to this stage in your career as a Black woman and what hardships you may have faced along the way.
My. We need a whole show for that one.
Right?
I'll say this, like I think as a Black woman navigating this industry and as a woman in general, navigating a very male-dominated industry, it's been amazing, but it's also been really difficult at times. You know, as women, we have our own like personal things that we're going through. You know, I think we were also talking about just like, you know, this whole thing about age and the idea of like where you're supposed to be. I think like, you know, when I was like 16 or 15, even 10, I had this idea of like, I'll be married, like 3 kids by 25, and like 25 came and I was like, nope, right? So we have these like ideas of like what life will be like at whatever age, and sometimes, at least for myself, like kind of get down on ourselves as women if we don't necessarily accomplish that by that age. But I think being in this industry and just like learning that things come at different moments for different people, and staying motivated and encouraging other Black women in this industry and like employing other Black women in this industry, because us as creatives, there's a lot of really talented Black women in this, even in Toronto, you know, who
especially in Toronto,
who don't get looks. And I don't quite know the answer why that is, but at least for me and my camp, I love employing people of color, but also more importantly for me, like Black women. And so like my stylist is Black, my makeup artist is Black, right? My co-manager, she's Black, exactly. Everybody is Black. If I can, I will employ people of color. Yeah. Because I think it's important to see that visibility in myself and also in the people that I look out to and I trust with like my art and how I want to express that. So it's been up and down. It's been difficult, but it's also been my superpower. As you know, as a Black woman, being a Black woman is honestly a superpower. When people ask me like, oh my gosh, how do you still look 17? I'm like, it's the melanin.
Right, they don't call it Black Girl Magic
Black
for
Girl
no
Magic.
reason.
Exactly. So a lot of great things. It's been ebbs and flows, like you said, in this industry, just navigating as a Black woman and staying out of our own head and staying out of our own way, my own way. I do a lot of self-sabotaging. I do a lot of like, you know,
relatable content.
Yeah.
Like, very relatable,
Yeah, so just combating those things and the way in which people see us. Like sometimes if my voice goes above a particular decibel, it's like, woo, oh, she's the angry,
she is.
She's
angry Black lady.
Right, or I'm the bitch, like, you know, like if I don't like something. But it's really about like our brand and protecting that and how we see ourselves and how we would like the world to see us as well. So all of those things are just like the things that play into being a Black woman in the music industry, and also being a Black woman in the music industry, in this music industry that is doing R&B but is not necessarily selling sex. Shout out to everybody who is, but I think for myself, it's just, that's never been,
it's just not your lane.
It's just, exactly, it's just not my lane. And so I think even more, I've been told many things like, you know, just be a little more sexy.
No, I get that. I get that. And it's very easy to then even feed more into the negative self-talk, because it's like, I'm never going to make it,
Right.
because I'm not falling into certain tropes.
Yeah.
You shouldn't necessarily have to then feel like, am I not going to make the sales? Am I not going to get the reach? And it's understandable.
Yeah.
It's understandable. And I think it's important for everybody to hear that message, not just young Black girls, because
everyone.
so many people can learn from that.
Yeah.
Our experience is very unique, and we are in the intersection of a lot of issues in the world, but there are so many people that can relate. Black people,
Absolutely.
women of every
Absolutely.
color. You know what I mean? So we just fall into that category.
Which is why I think we have to like encourage each other. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like women in general. But I really like to protect Black women, because I think sometimes like we just have it so difficult, you know?
Yes.
If I had anything really to say to any like young Black women in the industry, really, especially when it comes to your image, it's like just be most authentic to yourself. Like it doesn't matter what other people are doing. It's just like what works for you. And it starts within. Like whatever you emulate inside, it will show outside. Doesn't matter what you have on, what dress, makeup, hair, etc.
It's so true, and I say to myself now that I'm getting older and wiser. I'm supposed to be getting wiser. It's like if I'm gonna regret it, it's because it was my choice.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So do you, boo?
Do you, boo?
do you, boo? All of our boos
Yes.
out there. So as we continue to work through our career and we look back and we're looking forward, what to you is a marker of success?
Oh, I definitely have more benchmarks. I remember having a conversation with friends, like literally in like March or April, and I was like, you know, I really want to go on tour. Didn't know how it was gonna happen.
Nice.
I'm really big on like affirmations, putting things into the universe and like working towards that and allowing the universe to align for you. And I did not know how. And honestly, this tour is like at the end of the year.
Yes.
Like when that email came in, I was like, listen, we're going on this. I'm going, you know? So yeah, I've just literally, I know that I haven't like hit, I'm not ready to like stop and be like, okay, like I need to retire my mom. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to live comfortably off of my art. Still have ways to go, but I am very grateful every single day that I get to wake up, do what I want to do. Grateful for this opportunity and the doors that it's going to open for me in the future, and the doors that I hopefully will be able to open for other people, other young artists in this city.
While we're on the subject, can you talk to us a little bit about Daydreamers?
Yeah. Okay, so in all honesty, I haven't really been doing Daydreamers like, I would say like in a more like structural way right now. But one thing that's really close to me is like community and helping to build community. I started Daydreamers really just out of the fact that like when I was really young in this industry, it was really hard for me to find a mentor that kind of would like just tell me the things that I not necessarily wanted to hear, but needed to hear as an artist in the city, and just like, you know, the things that would help me propel in my career
and grow. Yes.
And I've learned some things, and I was like, I would really love to share this with other young artists, you know? And so I started this program called the Daydreamers program, and it looks many different ways. It started out as like a small cohort of like 5 girls, one of which is Benita. She was on Box Power, I think. Yes, Benita Singh. They support me to this day. Like, you know, that's more of like sisterhood. Like, those are my girls, you know what I'm saying? And whether they go on to do big things in music or they're behind the scenes, but they've loved music, and they're all women of color. And I just wanted to, again, just like promote them and really encourage them to like really be in this industry and take up space like unapologetically.
Yes.
And just really teaching them the things that I felt like somebody could have just told me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could have just been like, hey girl, don't do that show, or like don't you don't really
go
need
there,
you don't want to do that. Don't go to that studio session. Like, okay, this producer, he's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not necessarily what we talk about, but also the fact that somebody that somebody could be like, hey, like the fact of the matter is that we're not all going to be Rihanna.
No.
Right? Okay. And so if we work from that basis, then we can also open our perspective to other things. As writers, some of us are better writers, some of us are better singers, some of us are better vocal coaches, some of us are better like behind the scenes, you know? And if we're all focused on being Rihanna, we don't have enough people behind the scenes.
We need the producers. We need to see way more representation in production. We need to see way more representation in stage production, staging, all of these things. The AV team, all of these things. And it's important that you have that gratitude and humility to know my dream there can be different versions of my dream.
And the knowledge.
Yes.
Like sometimes people come in, they're like, I had no idea I could do X, Y, and Z behind the scenes, you know?
There are so many barriers to the industry, and that really is important work. Definitely wanted to take a moment to shout that out, because it's important to help drop those barriers, especially for the generation beneath us. Not everybody is as tenacious and as driven and as willing to kick down doors as maybe we have. So it's important to, you know, go back and share what we've learned along the way. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Shout out to the Daydreamers.
You know what I'm saying? When it's your time, it's your time. I just quickly wanted to touch on, did you hear, because you're talking about trusting timing and knowing when to tap in and knowing like, okay, is this my season, and understanding that roller coaster that the industry is. It made me think of when Glorilla was talking about her cleanse. Did you hear about her cleanse? She did like her and her friends did a 60-day cleanse. They said they were going to focus on their diet, their health. They weren't going to be talking to the boys. They weren't going to be distracted. No clubs, no parties. And then I think like right at the end of that cleanse, she wrote FNF. And a couple of months later, she was like nominated for Grammys. She's making all of these waves.
I believe it, because there's a level of focus that you really get when you're really like tapped in to what it is that you want. It's like intention, setting intention, you know, without the other distractions. I can honestly say like I've been wanting to like be a full-time artist, right? But can I honestly say that if I was working a full-time job, that this opportunity of tour would have come up, and would I be able to take it?
Sure.
A lot of times I was kind of moving like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm like, okay, I'm an artist, but I'm also like working. And though I loved my job, like, you know, one of the major blessings this year was really being released from that job. It's allowed me to open up so much more space and mental capacity to accept the blessing of a tour, or accept the blessing of like making music full time. And so I believe that, like, you know, you got to cleanse like everything, especially if you feel clouded, in your journey. So I definitely, I mess with that. I think that that's really good, that divine energy.
Right, it's true. And timing is everything. We got to stay patient with ourselves. That's the thing. I think that's a key message I'm pulling today.
Yes.
Thank
Be
you.
patient.
Thank you. I am very excited to introduce a guest who's going to be joining us momentarily.
Okay.
We have Stephen Gonville in the building. He's joining us tonight to educate us on cannabis, the industry of cannabis. Please welcome Stephen Gonville.
Come on, Stephen.
Welcome, Stephen. Thank you for joining us again.
Oh well, that's so disappointing. You know, like we have a system we've developed on my intro and.
All right, fine, I'll do it. The one and only Stephen Gonville.
Hey.
You know, I'll let it slide today, but it's the one and only wonderful Stephen. But I'm glad to be here. It's really exciting for me to get a chance to vibes with you. You have that retro R&B sound, which is, you know, very, very special to me. You're not yelling at me. You're not swearing at me. There's that tone, and what I love is you're not pitchy. Oh, like,
Depends on the day.
No. I scrolled through a lot of days, and you were never pitchy. I caught one of those TikTok things. What I loved about it was the response from some Canadian industry legends. You know, you had Julie Black giving you fire. You had Cardi, you know, giving you fire, fist pump, fire. You know, there was like even Ghostface Killah was on there.
Good people.
And I was like, wow. So for you, an up-and-coming artist, how does that feel when you know, drop something in kind of more of a social setting, but you still touch people who are industry people?
Incredible. like incredible to say the least. Like honestly, even some of the people that are here that I look up to, like Cardi, like Julie Black, like Julie. When I was a kid, I was listening to Julie and like just in amazement, you know. Shout out to Julie Black. She's an amazing mentor, another Black woman in the industry that I really love. And I feel incredible that I have that support system that like if I drop something, they're listening and they're willing to help push that music even further. And you know, shout outs to Cardi. He's also another one that's like consistently commenting. You know what? It's even crazy. Ghostface is like a newer friend within the past year, but I'm really grateful because he's like a legend, you know? He's a legend in this industry, and so he's always encouraging, especially on the musical side and the cover side, to just be like, hey, just drop it. You're an amazing singer. It feels amazing. I don't even have any words. It just feels amazing to be in good company with those people.
So sometimes I like to ask people, you know, I don't like to judge people or push people one way or the other, but what are your thoughts on cannabis?
I mean, for myself, I don't mind. I actually like cannabis as long as it's like consumed responsibly. I have great stories and I have bad stories. I will say this, I'm naturally like the kind of person that I am day to day is pretty reserved, sometimes very guarded. And in the music industry, especially in writing, you have to be vulnerable. And for a long time, I wasn't able to get to that vulnerable space in music, especially writing and in the studio. And I was like kind of introduced to edibles, and that honestly allowed me to just feel way more open and vulnerable in the way that I create. And so I have, like I said, I have great stories. I have a bad story. Well, only one bad story, but it's really helped me. I'll say that for myself.
So I love the words responsibly because so many times cannabis is given a bad name or a bad rap, and that hurts my soul. But I would love to hear a happy story. No, tell me the bad story first, and then come back with the good story.
Oh my gosh, you want to hear the bad story? Okay, I'm going to try and keep it concise. So really what had happened was I had consumed cannabis that was in edible format, but was not actually from a licensed space. I'll say that to start. So that was probably red flag number one. I also was unaware of like my capacity for cannabis because I'm not like a strong, I don't smoke every day. It's not something that I, like it's in my routine, my tolerance, right? And so I had consumed, it was like a Sour Patch kind of candy situation. And I just had one and I was like, oh, I'll be fine. I was out. Everything was great, okay? I was out at this show, at this concert, woo, fist pumps, everything. And you know, the moment that I actually sat down was when everything started feeling kind of woozy. And I was cool, I was all right still. And I was also outside, so the breeze was hitting me and I was cool, like everything was all right. Okay, cool, this is good. I know how edibles feel when it slaps you. You really can't tell when, but like, you know, it kind of just boxes you. Anyway, but as the evening progressed, it was just getting like bad. It like, you know, it just kept going up and up and up. And I was like, whoa, I'm starting to become anxious. I'm starting to feel like outer body experiences that's not great. And you know you're too high when you're Googling how to come down from a high immediately. I was like, on Google, like, yo, this needs to stop right now, like immediately. And so there's so much more to that story, but it honestly could have been prevented a lot. It was just really me being in a space where I don't know, I was just kind of having fun and it was like, all right, cool, this is, you know, what it is. And so I think from that point forward, I was like, okay, I know that one, my limit, I play within it, and two, that it will always be from like a licensed space that I can see how much THC is in it, what is actually going into the product, and that makes me feel way more safe than just consuming some shit I found on the road.
My firm, Chronic Relief, we are a licensed producer. We do make edibles. We will have some coming out in the OCS in the springtime. We produce dried flower product, which we have in the market right now. Wow. Our kosher kush, which is something I'm very, very proud of. But what you said really resonates with me, and I'm glad that you said it unprompted, is when you said licensed dispensary, what that means is that the people serving you, they're all certified. They've taken courses, and some of them even further their courses to the point where they become weed sommeliers.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a thing.
Yeah.
It gets serious.
It's serious.
Okay.
And those people are extremely knowledgeable and can transmit to you the information you need for a safe experience. The other thing I love about what you said was, it just was kind of, you don't know who made it.
Yeah.
And that's really key because licensed producers are held to a high standard, all of us. It is a rigorous process to be able to sell this product, which is, I believe, God's product, to the public. And so in that, you know that there's a certain level of quality control that's in place. And what tends to happen in your situation is because there's no quality control, one person gets the Sour Patch Kid that has no THC, and they're eating it and going, am I high yet? Am I high yet?
Yeah, literally.
Am I high yet? 3 hours later, am I high yet?
Yeah.
Right? But the other person,
Yeah.
Titting you.
Get hit like a
That was me.
ton of bricks.
ton of
That was the
bricks.
other person.
And so, for sharing your sad story, I do have some gifts, but
Thank you.
but I'm gonna take the creativity and the responsible nature and coming out of being reserved and so on and so forth as part of the positive.
Yes.
So in market we
Yes.
have our kosher kush,
Ooh.
and I did buy some from a licensed dispensary.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I did do a little rolling for you.
Good, because actually I have no idea how to roll.
So these are
So,
these are done.
pre-rolls in your
just for you.
Thank you so much.
And there's
Yes.
a gorgeous
Got your
little.
little
I love this.
Little
It's
tip.
Keep me
cold.
warm.
Yeah.
Right, it's
Relief.
cold out here in these Torontonian streets.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, just coming off the ganja topic for a bit, I could talk about ganja all day, but what I love is, you have that Lauryn Hill-esque presence, and you talked about the 90s vibe, and I know you've mentioned, like, it's the pinnacle
Yes.
of R&B, and there are reasons for that, and I think it's more music label driven than societal driven. And there are dollars and cents. I mean, it's much easier to bring out a rapper who talks about anatomy over and over again than it is to build and invest in an R&B singer and a band and a backup
Yes,
singers
that's
and
true.
all that type of stuff.
A lot more goes into
a
it.
lot more goes into it. So the quick dollars tend to push artists towards
Yeah.
just the MC, and I heard you're quite the MC, but I'm glad that you stuck with the vocals because
Thank you.
your sound is so beautiful. It is stunning, and I know that in listening to you, I've done what you've done, which is get into my safe space. Is that
Yes,
modern
yeah,
word?
it's just like
Yeah, just get in there and zen it up. One more thing before I kind of say farewell. You dropped that Lauryn Hill, I think it's like X Factor.
Yes.
I mean, and I felt like the game was interruptating what was going on. Is that a word, interruptating?
It's a word. It is a word today. I know it's a word now.
Because, I mean, I don't know if you heard me going, like
I saw it back there.
It was, and I feel that if you wouldn't mind for me, because people have the intro,
Yes.
right? And an outro to me would be you just picking any part in that beautiful Lauryn Hill song that sends chills every time I hear it, and just sing us out, please.
Ooh, okay. What part? Let's see.
Any part.
It could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up with scars. Tell me who I have to be to gain some reciprocity. Ooh, 'cause no one loves you more than me, and no one ever will.
It was so beautiful and so gentle and so lovely. Thank you.
You know, I wanted to get in my shoo-wop, doo-wop.
Right?
And,
I was going to do the ad-libs.
Shoo-wop, doo-wop.
And do the backup thing.
Hey.
You know the whole.
Care
Do the
for me,
twist.
care for me. I know you care for me, cry for me, cry for me.
Yo, thank
Are we going
you.
to take the show on the road?
Me? Yeah. You know what? We got to coordinate our footwear though.
I agree.
It's not
Because
working.
I got the sparkles. And,
we can't all have the sparkles.
You know, but we got to be sparkling. If we're stepping behind her, this voice.
Fair enough.
We're gonna be striding and looking
Listen,
good.
I like
We
the
need the
footwear,
lemon
so
pepper
you gotta,
stuff.
and Kat's got to be involved because she got the Jordans, the J's up. Trust me.
She's right.
Kat is gonna lead us in a Running Man. With that speaking of the 80s, if you can't Running
I'm telling
Man,
you.
Bismarck, WAP,
I'm telling you.
you ain't ready. And finally, those earrings,
Thank you. The bamboo.
fire.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
It was
much.
an honor to meet
Honor
you.
and a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Well, thank you again for having us. Our time is too short here today. I could talk to you forever, having quite the blast. But I'll be listening to Detour on loop as usual. Do we have any new projects coming? Any new music coming?
Yes, I think
know.
it's time for new music in the new year. So I'm gonna be going into like my little hermit hole and just pretty much creating for the rest of the year. So new music, top of the year, hopefully.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's exciting. That's exciting. Let us know where the people can find you.
Yes, I mean, you can find everything at LeilaDey.com, or if you Google Leila Dey, but everything is Leila Dey. Leila Dey is spelled Leiladey on all streaming platforms, everywhere. Just make sure, you spell the name correctly.
Yes. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me. Shout out to Box Power.